Kings, the first chapter, verse 28 to 31 from the Message Bible says, King David took action. Get Bathsheba in here. She entered and stood before the king. The king solemnly promised, as God lives, the God who delivered me from every kind of trouble, I will do exactly what I promised in God's name. The God of Israel, your son Solomon will be king after me and take my place on the throne. And I'll make sure it happens this very day. See, David knew that his time was up. He probably waited too late to do this, but he had to do it and had to get done. Hallelujah. Bathsheba bowed low, Sister Maria, her face to the ground, kneeling in reverence before the king. She said, oh, may my master King David live forever. Now there could be a situation, circumstance, or state of affairs that may cause us not to be able to designate our successor, and we might not have an overlapping time with them. But in other words, we still have to do what needs to be done for the success of our successor. In those days, hallelujah, you need to transmit the information in writing. Hallelujah. Some say we got to do a will. Some say we got to do all kind of statements. But I say follow the voice of the Lord. Hallelujah. To the individuals who remain on the scene. After you have left the building, you should hand over, Pastor Marilyn, your powers to somebody who will be taken over as the king or queen of the kingdom. My first question, and my only question, Brother Jacoby, is what's more essential, work or relationships? It is our work for the Lord that reveals the quality of our relationship with God. David was careful to give Solomon not only his work requirements, but his lifetime duties. It's common to get caught up with work and lose track of how far we've drifted from God. See, we'll get caught up in going and get on the grind every day. I got to go on this deployment. I got to go on this duty assignment. And I miss out on my duties and responsibilities for my son. I got to go here. I got to pull staff duty. I got to do this. I'm only talking about my military time. I got to do this and I got to do that. And I miss out on doing what I'm supposed to do for my son. Jesus has harsh words for those who had outstanding external works. But our internal relationship with God was all messed up. Matthew 15, 8 and 9 from the Common English Bible says it like this. These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far away from me. Their worship of me is empty, since they teach instructions that are human rules. Unflattering hearts and unhealthy intentions can nullify our gifts, talents, and capabilities. 1 Corinthians 13 and 1 says it like this, Pastor Marilyn. If I had the gift of being able to speak in other languages without learning them, and could speak in every language there is in all heaven and earth, but did not love others, I would only be making noise. I would only be talking trash. I would only be just chirping. Hallelujah. I wouldn't be about nothing. Just sounding off. Just making noise. But you got to love your family. You got to take care of your family, fathers. You got to provide for your family. And the most of all, you got to, hallelujah, have the love to do what's right for them. My situation, spiritual situation today comes from Deuteronomy 31, verse 7 and 8 that says, Then Moses, another father, calls for Joshua and said to him, as all Israel watched, be strong, be courageous, for you shall lead these people into the land promised by the Lord to their ancestors. See to it that they conquer it. See, he got to make sure that Joshua knows exactly what he needs to do. Don't be afraid, Moses said, for the Lord will go before you and will be with you. He will not fail nor forsake you. See, we got to put it in our son, fathers, that the Lord will be with you. I won't always be here, but the Lord will always be with you. It is captivating, Pastor Marilyn, to know that Moses, the one who signified, hallelujah, the law, could only lead them to the promised land. He couldn't accompany them into the land. The law cannot take us into abundant blessings of the Lord. It's God's grace that releases God's goodness in our life. As I get ready to make my points, hallelujah, and bring it to a close, Pastor Marilyn, my first point comes from 1 Chronicles 28:9 that says, Solomon, my son, get to know God of your fathers. Worship and serve him with a clean heart and a willing mind, for the Lord sees every heart and understands and knows every thought. If you seek him, you will find him. But if you forsake him, he will permanently throw you aside. David has turned his attention to his son Solomon. What he had to say to his son was very important to those that was listening also. As delightful as it would be to construct or build a holy place that would bring glory and honor to God, what's more noteworthy is our obedience to the voice of the Prince of Peace. We need to acknowledge the Lord and obey him. It is impossible for us to serve the Father effectively if we don't know the voice of the Lord. Enough has been revealed about our Father that Solomon could easily understand who he is and what he expected from him. Even the more this is true for us as believers here today. We have the Bible. Some of us got a brand new woman's Bible for our birthday, and we can read the scriptures, so there's no reason for us not to recognize the Father and the Father's voice. Society endorses an attitude of self-advancement and directs our emotional observation, Pastor Marilyn, to a way of life that says we can do whatever makes us comfortable and feel fantastic. Whatever I feel like doing, society has made it so I can feel I can do anything and I can be whatever I want to be. Hallelujah. And I leave it that way. The results of such thinking in regards to the Bible is that we can pick and choose what parts we should believe and obey. That's what folks do. I'm just going to pick out this and pick out that. I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that, what the word says. Those things that appear to hamper our delight can affect our, hallelujah, can affect our behavior. In fact, we have the ability to ignore them. Some of us ignore what the voice has to say. This is completely contrary to what God is saying in the Word. After we've gathered that our greatest gladness comes from obeying God and having a relationship with him, then we will be able to fulfill his will. Now Solomon